any reasons for absence? Got any declarations of interest and items on the agenda?
Yeah, I'll declare all planning.
Yeah. Minutes of the last meeting. Sign.
Yep.
Hey, hang on, I've got some problem first.
Oh, yes, that's all right.
It's
I
rules.
want to jump ahead of me. You approve
Any
any objections?
No.
Right, so through the chair, within that, the commercial waste caretaker, Norfolk County Council quoted £359.24 for a 360 litre bin, Brunton's 219.12 for a 1100 litre bin. So I went on the most economic for the council, and it meant that we could get anything the care needs to go in it. Because it was on the 1st of April, I had to stop it that day, otherwise we'd been tied into Norfolk County Council, so I switched it using the financial regulations of best interest of the council. Through the chair, I was hoping to introduce Darren to the public today. Unfortunately, got his dates wrong with his holiday. So unfortunately, he was not able to attend. It will make more sense later on when we go to finance and talk about the internal audit. Through the chair, we did receive 30-day notice on WhatsApp. So councillors, you need to discuss whether you wish to accept this 30 days notice. It's only sent it on WhatsApp text.
The caretaker.
Yes.
So we don't want.
With the internal audit we'll go through later on, but basically the payment has come for approval of his invoices tonight. And he, previous to that, he's been receiving payments on receipt of invoice. But the internal audit report was that we have no controls in place and that payments will not come into meetings by full council before being made. Or we negotiate. It's whether we negotiate with him to carry on or we accept the termination.
I think we accept the termination. Are you all in agreement with that, or? Because that's the way around it, isn't it? If he's handed it in, well, yeah, he's handed it in, so we accept it.
I see that. What's going to happen if I can't just put out tender after?
Well, we're going to have a discussion at another time about it.
Chair, we've got bits that are going to need doing for a couple of months. We could ask someone else just to step in for a couple of months to give you breathing space to make a decision.
Could the grass cutter do those?
He possibly could do the grass cutting. We could ask him just to tide it in. We then could have more discussions of what needs to be done. And
we need to know what the caretaker's job role is, basically,
well,
what jobs he does.
Well, this is what I'm
Part
trying
of litter picking.
This is what I'm trying to get my head around, because the contract was for 20 hours a week. But we seem to be doing that plus then paying the grass cutting on top. And I don't know how that agreement happened, because we don't seem to have a separate agreement for the grass cutting. The way I read all the old documents is that grass cutting should have happened within 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week.
Yeah. Is this the cemetery?
Cemetery, and
That was always a separate contract.
but there isn't a separate contract.
Really?
No, we signed one contract.
I think we accept his resignation and we redo the contract if we want to.
You need to vote on that.
Right. Are we voting on that we accept his resignation and then we relook at his contract and decide put it out to tender or whatever?
Sorry, can you just, I'm struggling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just, so we'll have a month with his 30 days. Can the council decide just to at least have one, to give us a little bit of breathing space? It's going to be short time for 30 days. If I'm asking the grass cutter to tie us in for up to 2 months afterwards to keep the cemetery and the churchyard. So we're not giving him a contract, it's ad hoc.
Yeah.
Could you just give me a vote on that, Chair, please?
Well, I'll come to the cost.
Yes, we want to know what comes.
Yes, obviously, I'll get a cost, and it should be in line with what the original cost of the other. So if it's in line with what the grass cutter cost, with the caretaker charges for that grass cutting, is that acceptable?
Yes.
Yes.
Fine, Chair.
Yeah, there's Golden Notice Board.
Yeah. There was an email received in July 22 from the forestry who said the notice board, basically there's a parish council notice board in the corridor. It's not seems to be used. Are you happy for us to, you could read that word, tit it down?
I can't see it.
It says tit it down, but I think it was take it down.
Alright.
And so, because they didn't get a response in July, they took it down, unfortunately.
Well, it is a shame because there was nothing wrong with it, only that the paper, the old papers in it were...
Looks a bit.
I think the backboard had gone, but it could have
Well, it had
been.
been replaced. It would have looked much nicer in the cemetery than the plastic one.
So, unfortunately, that one has gone.
That's gone.
I wasn't here in July, so
When did you get the email?
July 22.
And when did they actually take it down?
I'm assuming then.
No, they didn't, because
I don't
I
know.
go up every week, twice, 3 times a week.
I don't know.
How because it should be all
It was when the interim.
When she was off sick, wasn't it? So we didn't know anything about that. Right, the Hill Institute.
Okay, through the chair.
It's an ongoing.
Okay, following the question that was asked at the last meeting, legal advice was taken. The Parish Council are in no way responsible for the Hill Institute, as they are not responsible for any other community centre in the village. I propose that the Council vote to make this noted in the minutes to correct the incorrect minutes of 2013 that said we were liable for, responsible for the Hill Institute.
Who's going to tell
Vote
me?
please.
Sorry?
Did the minutes say it was the parish
Responsibility of the parish
council or
council.
members?
Parish Council to meet the cost.
We need to meet the cost.
All right.
Yeah.
But we're not. So, are we paying that being limited?
We can note, it's in this minutes, we can't alter those minutes. So we note that the 2013 minutes are incorrect, and the council will incorrectly notified that they were responsible for the cost.
Right.
Okay? What the council can choose to do with any community centre or any community facility is give via S137. That is proportionate to the amount per elector and the benefit per elector. And any cost that's been given in the past have been far exceeding the S137 spend in that year.
But you can give against 133 as well, can't you? Which was, you can give, may acquire a fire and furnished building to use for public meetings and assemblies.
Would it still be S137 spend? It would still, the spend would come out of S137, but you'd use that. You have to have another power to spend it on, but the spend has to come out of S137. So you can't increase your spend in 137 and 133.
Right.
Okay, so that means that as this came in following the writing of the agenda, the legal advice, so it actually makes the irrelevant.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy with that, everybody?
Can I ask a question?
Can you wait for the public, please?
Well, because it's referring to this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Grant report.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry. We have written to request a grant recall after council felt the grant application had misled the council. We've had no response. Has been highlighted in the internal audit as fraudulent grant application. It is now waiting for the monitoring officer to instruct us what to do.
What grant were you talking about? Didn't say that.
Sorry.
Is it the lights?
Yes, it's the lights. Grant for the lights committee.
Meeting venue, consider cost saving and social distancing. Where are we going in June?
So here tonight, it does seem to be a bit of a weird.
Yes, it's not an ideal room. It's not an ideal room.
The distance is better, but the hearing is not good.
We are crafting rooms to choose very much.
Yeah. And it was extremely embarrassing last meeting seeing an elderly lady having to stand because younger people wouldn't stand up. So we need to be considerate of all things, not just fire.
Paul and I have been to Wilton Village Hall, which is smaller than this, I will say. It's a comfortable sized village hall, and we can hire it at the same cost as what we hire the institute.
Just bothering me a bit if you know, say whether it's the same echoing.
Doesn't
You
echo.
don't go sounding with the carpet. I think, I can't say, I think it might be the same.
So you think it might be the same?
Whether you try it or...
Well, that's the only way we're going to know, isn't it? By trying.
It's a shame.
Well, we try, well, we say the trouble is, sorry.
Could we make it slightly later and maybe try the chapel rooms, Methodist Hall? Because the Brownies are out at 7:15.
Make it go back to 7:30, make it yesterday.
Yeah.
And then go straight in. I can set up from Brownies even stuff.
It's what they do.
Usually so much better there.
Yeah.
No, if we pay you for ladies there, it's fine.
Let's
We had the
say,
buskins there, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I can go and see Mary, see if we can do that.
I think we're going to have one meeting somewhere here so we get a resolution on to change the time. Because we haven't got a resolution on here to change the time. Do you know what I mean? And we can't put a resolution on the 23rd of May to do that.
have another here.
Sorry?
Have another one here.
Or another one at the... Do we think the grammar school is going to be better than here?
Grammar school, we can have a parish meeting, not a parish council.
I think we'll have to come back here in June so that we can get a resolution on the change of time. No, so we could resolve to change it.
Yeah.
You want an extraordinary meeting just to change the time, yeah? Okay, okay. So, what we could do is put an extraordinary meeting just before the meeting on the 23rd for half an hour to get that resolution through. We've got time, haven't we? Yeah. We could, before the public meeting on the 23rd, do an extraordinary meeting to get that time. So, just, are you happy that, I'm trying to find out if it's available. If it's available, just to go ahead there. We're going to try and do an extraordinary meeting before the public meeting to change the time so we can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Expectations emails, wasting council's resources,
Well, basically 9 hours have been given out
Oh, yes, yeah.
over last month
Yes.
by just numerous emails answering the same question.
How many emails have you received?
Oh, I haven't answered all three anyway, but there's some that I'm answering the same question over and over.
So it's a waste of public money.
Yeah, because every time I log on to a job with the council, I log on for half an hour because, you know, otherwise it just goes on and on and on into my time and I'm answering the same question.
That's what I'm saying, every time you answer an email, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're over your time.
And then I have to load up the system.
Yeah. So there's a lot of wasting public money by sending out these emails.
Well, isn't it a question just of allocating the specific time, and if their emails aren't got very much time, they wait till the next one?
But I'm getting the same question repeated numerous, so I'm going through numerous emails because people are not waiting.
Well, don't answer it, they're not getting an answer.
Why do you think they're getting all these emails?
I mean, the residents must be aware that you have only a limited number of hours, and it states on your, often states on your emails anyway. And people, sometimes, yeah, there'll be a delay in reply. I mean, there is, with all of us, we're not working constantly, and that should be made clear. I mean, if you give an indication, but I mean, again, if people are sending loads of emails and they are on some topic.
A lot of it might stop if we start working with the members of the board. That's the big one. Start working with them.
But see how it goes.
Can I just make a comment on what?
Well, no.
No.
No,
you can't.
the council rules.
Well, let's go to
PO box.
we're still,
I know, it seems pointless.
it's pointless because it's
Yeah.
still going to Rideau House,
Yeah.
even though we've had apologies to say it's not going there. I think we need to cancel it.
Yeah.
Fine. Is there a councillor that's willing to have the mail sent to
Yes,
them?
right.
Very little should be now, bank statement. I think a lot come. Is that okay? Yeah.
Does everybody agree with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spending £1,000 for a bit for your boxes.
Yeah, it is. When she comes to pick it up, it now probably. DFIB 2015.
Right, okay, so after John went digging through the minutes for me, I went then digging in the boxes of old accounts. And I have found the invoice for the DFIB. It does belong to Parish Council.
Right.
If it is the one in the box that's on this invoice. And it is an asset of the Parish Council, it should fall under their risk assessments, it should fall under our monitor. So I believe it should come back into the Parish Council care.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
vote on that, please, Council.
Yes.
Will it be factored into the budget then about maintaining it and servicing it?
It'll have to be, it'll have to be. Once I know about it, it may be that one of the management schemes will be more economical, that I've got all the other DFIBs on, because they send the consumer, some of the management schemes are better, less than what you've been paying out for your consumables, and they cover the batteries. And the other thing is, if it's used and failed, they take it back and swap a spare in, whereas we've not got that cover now.
Council correspondence.
Okay. So this is basically is that we need the council correspondence to come through parish clerk, and we need the actions to come in from one place, or it needs to be agreed in the meeting if the councillor is taking the action,
Right.
because there needs to be data liability audit trail,
Right.
so the auditors of the parish clerk. Yeah, it's yes, we need to share jobs out, but we need an agreement
Yeah.
where jobs are shared out,
Yeah.
so we don't double up and we get the audit trail.
I might have not on with it, it's not, am I looking at it?
That was perhaps what it's more like. I need to know if you're going to go do a job. If we've decided to do something at a meeting and you think, right, I can deal with that,
Oh.
I need to know before you do it and before you send an email, so we've got an audit trail, and the parish clerk needs to be copied in, so we've got an audit trail and we know what's happening.
Sorry, I thought that's what happened anyway. And equally, you can't have have meetings outside and decide things.
It was just some emails went out last month that didn't come through me. It doesn't really need labouring, but it's just a point that needs copying in. Yeah,
Allotments. Updates.
right, okay, so the thing I had through there was about 2 ash trees. I did ask Paul to look to see if he knew if they were on our boundary or on the farmer's boundary. Then ash trees, did you think they were in our boundary?
They're in the hedge.
They're in the hedge, so we need to ascertain who owns the hedge then, don't we?
I think it's a farm.
Farm.
We own the
Down right through along there in the next field.
And are they dangerous?
They'll be driven back.
So,
I have to create it.
no, but who do I need to speak to who farms that field?
Can't tell you. Definitely better.
Yeah, no, you can tell me, can you tell me afterwards who to email or get in touch with? Yeah. So we sure it's not ours, it's partners, so.
Think so.
For the chair, this has been signed and finished this year.
Right. Grass cutting contract.
So we had the first grass cut. And find this, sorry. It's him today.
When somebody going checking up on this.
Yeah. Wall view.
Yeah, that's it.
Is there another one, did you say, that's been missed?
Quite a few areas.
Malton Gate.
Roxby
Road.
Right, can I ask, give me an email of all the areas and I'll check it against the map.
It's actually on a Facebook trail. So
I'm not doing this work on Facebook.
no, I'm just saying, there's a lot of
Yeah,
chatter.
if somebody can send me on an email, I will then check it against the map and see how we can fit it in, or if it's been missed.
We're only supposed to pick the grass up on the park in front of the houses. Everywhere else has to be cut away.
So the next cut is the 30th of May. If I double check if they've been missed or we've missed them on the map, we've asked them to.
How do we stand for public having stones at the side of the road, blocking the means for him to cut the grass with his machine that has to be cut by a screw, which is putting the price up to a lot? How do we stand? How do they stand for insurance?
Well, he should be putting highway land, not personal land. He shouldn't be putting anybody's which is their own property. So,
right, at the back of these stones is a council grid box. And they're at right side of the road. If anybody touches them with a car, it's going to be a bill.
perhaps do you want me to write for everything to remove?
Yes, I think so.
Very big kind of land registry, tomorrow on the place.
If we are on, we should not be putting them there, should we?
Right.
So if we write to them and they say they own it, then we should be cutting it. Public money should not be used to cut people's own land. So can I have a vote that you want me to write to anywhere that I think is public, that's highways, that's got stone up, that's preventing cuts, to ask them to remove if they do, or...
You got to be right up first.
Yeah.
You need to be right up first, and we'll see what they are.
Yeah.
You have to go right, you go right.
So can a councillor come with me?
No problem.
Right, we'll review these areas. Review areas uncut. Review areas difficult to cut. And review if we should be cutting. Happy with that action plan?
Yes.
No. I haven't blaming you.
You want to vacate the room?
Aye,
You don't have to vacate the room, but you just want to sit there.
I know where I will locate.
Okay, so we've got 2 planning applications. One is an appeal from Mr. and Mrs. Jackson and this is to do with the UPVC windows.
We've done in the past and they look just like wood. Don't have them so carefully made.
Any real objections to it? And then the other one, it's the ash trees on the Florence Pickering Road,
Yeah.
which you've got ash driver. Any objections? No. For that.
Time for your financial services.
We've had these through.
Yes.
So basically, we've got adjusted bank balance of 67,935.38, of which is committed spend of 67,344 and 3, leaving us a slush fund of £591.35. And that is being tight on the spend and everything that we've got.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is the other half of the precept in December, but we cannot go into negative figures before that arrives. So things are extremely tight.
Hang on, there's a whole load of stuff on the other account.
67,000 includes both accounts. You've got 28,649.55 in your main account, 41,787 in the other account, and you've got unpresented cheques of 2,501, which gives you 67,935.38. They'll be all going on the web tonight.
Oh, Mr. Ibbison's now.
So there's 4 payments to go out. There was a pension payment come out, it's come back in. So there's 4 payments come out, one for accountants who did the internal audit, Bloomingdale's who do the caretaking, AJ Griffin who does the grass cutting, and Ed Brunton for the bin.
Yeah.
Please, 2 councillors sign the payment sheet, you've got the invoices behind. To relate. Council's happy for me to put the bank rep and the reserve onto the website.
Yes.
Just the front sheet, you can look at the invoices so you can see that you've
What you've got online anyway.
Yeah. Moving down the bank mandate, I'm very happy to say that Councillor Firth, N Firth and Councillor D Firth are now on the mandate. So I would like Councillor Child and Councillor, all 3 of you on it, please. You've got the caretaking and you've got the cutting of this grass and churchyard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you're not doing 2 payments, as long as you've got to see both invoices. So if I move on to the ACAR, the ACAR's been done and submitted. Can I have councillors' approval to put this on the web?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you've all had
Everything on that? Yes. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. You've also had a copy of the internal audit report.
Yes. Which made the lenders meeting.
It's what I expected.
Yeah.
Are you in agreement that this goes on the web as well?
Yes.
I'm speaking to Rachel. She did say that she said the same thing last year. She said this year that there needs to be improved income controls and internal controls. And this is why I've held every payment but salary to now. Salary is covered under the Employment Act and has to be paid on the date. Every other one, unless it's in the contract a certain date to be paid, should be paid after the full council meeting, and that's why I have changed the process, but that's internal audit. Public rights form also on the web. The dates recommended is the 5th of June to the 14th of July. Go with it. So, would Councillor can you put that in the notes form? The grant policy, I need more time to get further advice because that is the policy that is recommended by now, which covers the council unable to give money. I need to get more advice on that. I haven't had the time in this month to do it. We've been slated over our grant giving policy in the internal audit.
Well, as far as I was concerned, they're only allowed to give £200 without anything else. And you've got every right to give us up to order except for one.
So I do need more time there.
Cemetery there.
So I stated last week 23 memorials that sort of failed the hand test, wobble. We've had one family who are putting another memorial beside. They will deal with one of them, but that's at least 22 others. I have had conversations with stonemasons when they've been doing applications to see if they would quote for laying them down, but it's not something that they're very interested in doing. If it was for reinstating and putting up, but just laying down, they're too busy to really quote for that. Do I start approaching builders of Thornton area to see if they will make them safe for us by laying down?
Have you got the addresses of all these people that say grades that?
Yeah, because a lot of the previous EROPs are in the name of funeral directors. I have sent this list to funeral directors to see if they can see if they still have details on them, and nobody's come back to me. It is up, let's put more up, let's give it a bit more time, but can I at least get quotes before we make a decision?
Yeah.
And then we've got everything in hand.
Where is the list gone?
Not a bit no stop, but I'll double check and put it up. And
The cemetery?
yeah, I don't have, but I'll do it in the minutes.
Would it be an idea to put it in the village?
The only thing I was cautious about putting it on the internet, it's in the minutes, but is it a bit crass putting up individually a list of names?
On the internet, I would say so, yes.
Whereas it's in the cemetery where it's to do with,
Yeah,
by
that's a
putting
bit
it,
different.
I just think it feels a bit crass putting it on the website. So I nearly thought of putting it on your page, but I just thought it was a bit crass. We could put a notice, please, can anyone look at the notice board? I just didn't want this list going in social media. It's in there under minutes, if someone looks at it, but it's not in people's face. I had someone ring me about the work that's been done to fill some of the areas. And the grave area had not been one that was really flagged as hollowed. And they'd asked if they could bring some soil to fill in because they liked what we were doing, and I didn't see any harm in that. They wanted to bring some of their own soil to sort the mums out, and they wanted to actually, because their monument was on a slope but not wobbly, they wanted to be able to reinstate it. So I didn't
Let them carry on.
I didn't see any harm. Because it belongs to them, the memorial. They've already, so there's nothing stopping them putting it right. And if they want to make it level with some soil, I didn't think there was any harm in that. Am I right or am I wrong?
They all right on that. Have you got any correspondence to do with the cemetery?
Not sent, no, this is correspondence in general.
Right, okay.
Following the two previous emails I had from Claire Park, which I forwarded to you, I had a further email that wasn't quite as pleasant. Basically asking, the council agreed last month for 6 cuts at the same time as our cuts. And wanting to know how we pay it. I would suggest that they send us the invoice once paid each month and pay it in the pay run. Rather than
Pay
back once they submit the invoice. So they submit the invoice after the pay date.
We'll pay that.
Yeah. Rather than paying a big lump up front.
Well, all pay the grass cutter directly.
I don't.
No, I know, let's say we play the pay part back rather than pay the grass cutter directly.
Any objections? Is a grant application for the Moors bus. I don't know if the councillors can answer the question, because I wasn't able to totally answer the question myself. Was they clearly listed the income, but they just put the cost of sales as the cost of bus running. Does that include any director remuneration?
Directors aren't paid, so...
We don't know that.
No, it said that within the instrument.
Just isn't very clear of what the cost.
I think we should miss it this time. They got quite a bit last year. I can't find something every year.
And I mean, a child group is providing this as well.
But what's the impact if we do it? So when we do it,
It'll carry on.
Who receives the benefit, the residents or tourists, can I ask?
I'm afraid, probably more tourists than residents.
Because it's an well, it's an S137 spend, so you need to be looking at the challenge of the benefit to the parish.
517.
That's the audience, if they use it.
That's the audience.
Do you any
Do you want a resolution to ask the audience? No, it's got to offer a resolution to ask the audience.
Just the
Yeah.
budget.
Okay.
How many uses smoke?
Can we ask you? One, two. Do you use the nose plus? So it's the portion benefit. If you take a stakeholders room, got four in the room. So, Chair, would you like to ask for a vote on if they want to give the grant or not give it? Which one?
Do you wish to give the grant to the more 5 slots?
One in favour.
I think we should change the closed session and the public session round.
We haven't quite got there yet. Let's just keep going while we're on. Let's.
I've got that to the right.
Do you want to ask the question you're trying to answer today, Nicole?
Yeah. Insurance.
Yes.
Who does the council insure?
Council pays insurance for its assets, its employment, its employees, and the fidelity insurance for its councillors.
So only the councillors go look into insurance.
Well, you cover for your work as a councillor.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't cover any voluntary organisations or anything like that. And with public liability for if anyone steps into the cemetery, public, or steps on the green, or comes to a meeting where we're holding a meeting, we've got public liability. We do not cover voluntary organisations with our insurance.
Go to the next meeting then. What we've got 23rd, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is the meeting for the public.
Yeah, the old Grand School.
Yeah. What time's that? How many books it for?
Someone else I can help them, so sorry.
I think it's 6 till 9 or 7 till 9.
I booked it 6 till 9, so we had time before.
Right.
Yes.
And in that time before, they want to come and see the
Yes.
books, they can do. They want
Yeah.
to see the balance sheet.
But I'd like to know what you want to look at, so I know what to throw in my car boot.
Oh, yeah, got extra meetings.
Oh yeah, if you want extra meeting, I can book it before. I can extend the time of the grammar.
Yeah.
But the public meeting is 7 till 9. So we'll try and give some people time before to explain finances. But we'll have an extra, if you want extra ordinary, we'll try and slip that in before. The next parish council meeting is the 6th of June, venue to be confirmed.
Yeah, and we've still got that to sort, haven't we?
Okay, Councillor Holsworth.
I think we should change the public one to the private one. Seeing everybody sat down.
Yeah, Chair, yes, we'll vote on that.
Have a vote on that, please.
I was going to ask a question after Paul's comments of your time, emails and everything else. With most of the people in the village now knowing who the councils are they allowed to be approachable by people in the village to ask them the questions rather than sending you emails?
You can ask them knowledge about the area, but you can't ask them to make a decision for the council. Councils understanding the boundaries, and saying if they don't know it, they don't know it. And we find it, we don't all know everything. And that's what we find when we're going back years, we're digging up things. Like there's some councils that know things from the village, so they may know. But it's just we cannot make a decision and they cannot speak for the council.
Yeah, I mean, that I think is our role. Our role is
That's really where I was
They
coming
can
to.
feed things back and in.
because
That's where
sometimes
everyone
things
is.
that we know need to be checked.
Yeah, or
We
they
may
can
not be
say,
correct.
or they can point you to in the minutes.
I'm just thinking that they could bring it to the meeting rather than clogging your time up unnecessarily.
Yeah. Or they could say something's trying to be worked on, but we can't do it all straight away. Yes, Brian.
Would it be possible that if people, because obviously earlier that discussion that got slightly irritated out of hand, if people have questions for the council, that they write the questions down, so if they don't get asked the question at a specific time, if 15 minutes runs out, they can hand the question over to the council and they can deal with it and bring it up in the next meeting. That to me would make a really good point. Then you're not bickering between each other all over the place, and it gets dealt with and everyone gets listened to.
At the last meeting, when I raise a question, I always give it in writing.
Yeah,
And I know
that's
my
you
colleagues-
personally.
No, I know others have as well.
Well done you. Congratulations.
Don't be condescending.
It's everyone else that wants to bring up points. They put their hand up, they bicker, but they don't get it in writing and it doesn't get dealt with. At least people, if you put it in writing, it should be getting dealt with.
We'll notice sometimes we can't always answer it at the next meeting.
I understand that.
Because we only have 2 hours and sometimes we cannot get them answered. So,
But the point I'm making is, in that 15 minutes, you might have 10 people that want to speak, but you only have time for 3 people. So the other 7 people don't get heard. So if you have a question, put it on a bit of paper, hand it over, and then hopefully the question will get answered straight away.
One's a suggestion, and why don't you rig up an audio system with mic and loudspeakers? It's surely going to cost them like would it? Everybody will be able to hear it.
An amplifier runs out about 400 quid. The
The
microphone, I install stuff. The microphone costs about 50 quid. Speakers are 70 quid. It's not cheap.
Well,
It's very expensive.
well, then people can hear, can't they? So what's cheapness?
it's too expensive.
Sorry?
It's still echo. It's still getting reverb through the whole building.
Let's see what the next meeting
This
is like.
next
Let's see
question,
what
why do the public have to leave the meeting? Why can't this be held an open meeting? Because you clearly say being prejudicial to the public interest. Well, I would have thought some of these things that are on there are in the public interest.
You mean in the closed bit at the end here today?
Yeah, sorry?
Are you mean in the closed bit
Yes.
on today?
Yes.
On this employment we have to do with enclosed? Because employment law will override the local government. Anyone else?
No.
This lady, you've had a few questions. This lady.
It's just on, and can I just thank Henry for raising about the public questions being straight after, because your rules for a public session state, the public session will take place at the start of the parish council meeting. It will be for a maximum of 15 minutes. And I know it's still discretionary, but when you say you're having a public meeting, your own rules say you have it at the start. So I don't understand why it's suddenly gone to the end. It has done for the last few meetings, but your own standing orders under rules for a public session say it should be at the start of the parish council meeting. If it's controlled in time, it shouldn't matter when it should it. If it's 15 minutes and it's controlled, it shouldn't matter. So are you going to change your rules, or are you going to apply the rules that you've already signed up to? That was my question. Now to think about it. It's what your rules say, it's your own rules.
It was that we were not getting through all the council business at the time.
But it's your rules, that's what I'm saying. That's your standing orders.
Yeah, there was a resolution.
We did resolve to move it, so we can resolve to move.
So you can change your own standing orders.
Can I comment on the rules of public participation? It does say the parish council can have a public session at any time they wish, at their discretion.
Where does it say that?
On the rules of
Well, if you point it out to me, that'd be really helpful, because
Yeah.
the bit I've read is rules for a public session,
Yeah.
and I've quoted it straight out of the
I can give you a copy of it.
That's lovely, thank you.
Sorry.
Your new thing up at the cemetery, it may be economical for you. I, for one, am struggling to get the lid up. You may laugh, but I've tried for 2 days in a row, and on like this, I could about 4 or 5 inches. But I can't really get anything into it, and I can't not the only person.
Well, the one thing that considers a small bin beside it, that was connected to the big bin.
Right, yeah.
No.
Just like an ordinary dustbin beside it, that then the caretaker can empty into it. So it's not even big.
I've gathered 1 or 2 of older people are struggling with sheer weight and can't get anything in it.
So, if we have a small bin, put it in there and we'll put it in the big bin.
Yeah, that would be fine. That's okay. And also, with the new chair, would it be possible for you to speak up a bit more clearly?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can hear you, and sometimes you can see your mouth, but you can't really hear.
Just bring it to the next meeting. Just bring it to the next meeting.
Is it Mr. Mark again?
It is indeed, yes, I'm afraid so. I've got 3 questions. I'll ask one and then that maybe the question to stand on.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, yeah. So, in terms of audio-visual recording, it costs nothing. We have a Jabber speaker and have to donate it to the Parish Council for the meetings. Two Jabbers linked together again, I'll donate them if needed. So, record off the council mobile phone. It will cost the council nothing to do good quality recording with a Jabber speaker. So, good systems are expensive, but we don't need a top of the range system. So, 2 Jabbers, happy to donate them for the use of the Parish Council meeting. In terms of questions, at the previous meeting, a load of questions were asked, they were recorded, no official response. The minutes or the agenda says a response won't be given, yet sometimes the response is given, sometimes the response isn't given, sometimes there's no answer at all. The question was, what is the process for having a proper answer, rather than just recording the question? Because some of them are, and some of them are not answered properly.
Surely that's been answered when Carrie said there's a time constraint. She's only got a certain amount of hours and can't answer all the emails.
The question,
So she doesn't got bombarded with everybody's email.
Like them to answer questions.
so
be able to answer
the
them.
question is, there's an inconsistency in answering questions. The minutes say the questions will not be answered on the night. They're going to be recorded. At the last meeting, the questions were recorded, but I've not seen any answers. At previous meetings, questions have been asked, but no Parish Council response. I'm all for taking the question to Parish Council at the meeting and not answering on the night. In fact, I prefer that to make sure we have a succinct and proper answer. But when is those answers going to be given? Is it an agenda item of the Parish Council? Is it a letter to the person who wrote it? Is it on the notice board? How will the Parish Council going forward ensure the questions from the residents are answered?
Public session is at just discretion.
You have to now.
Can you let me finish? Because you never let me finish, Mark. Can I finish? The public session is at discretion. The council can then choose to include any answers in future meetings. Not the next meeting, future meetings.
Yeah. So the answer to the question is, there's been a whole host of questions been asked by various people, but there's been no answer. And it's
Future meetings.
Future meetings.
Okay.
How much more clearer do I need to make that?
You want? No, I don't know. So the point is, as a resident, I'm feeling other residents, we're not getting answers.
2 minutes, I'll time this off.
Don't tell me
Really a follow-on from the last point. Any parish council that ignores the residents does so at its peril, I think. There was a comment earlier on about unpleasantness and people not being able to smile. The parish council, I think, are there to serve the residents and to listen to what the residents have to say and respond and include some of those things in future agendas. And it seems to me, in all the meetings I've been to, there's very little that's been raised by the residents that's ended up as an agenda item. which is not the point of a parish council. The parish council is there to administer the precept, to look after the parish, but to listen to what people have to say and respond to that. And it's not happening, unfortunately. And there would be a much better atmosphere in the village between the parish council and the residents if we could see some recognition for some of the points that are made. Because people make very valid and important points at these meetings, and they are not responded to, are not taken into consideration. And tonight's meeting, people said they can't hear. It's not just the acoustics in here. I brought up the problem of my hearing difficulties several weeks ago. The answer doesn't just lie with the parish council, it lies with me to try and position myself. It lies with the residents to stand up and be heard, because I can't hear the questions. It's for all of us to help each other to hear what's going on. In the same way that if a parish council meeting is held in Wilton, if it's held in Wilton, that's discriminatory because people can't access a meeting there. Meetings need to be in this parish. 2 minutes.
Wilton is in this parish. Wilton is in this parish.
Well, if it's in Wilton residents, I don't think it's within the parish boundary. Within 3 miles.
Within 3 miles.
No, it isn't. Dolby is in the parish.
It isn't in the parish.
So within 3 miles of it, but it's not in the parish. But it's not in the parish.
I just didn't hear Nancy. Did you say it was in the parish?
Wilton, in the parish.
That's what Nancy said, yes.
No.
That's what I've written down. Yeah.
She's wrong.
She thinks she's right.
Within the parish boundary, but not in the parish.
That's our county council.
Parish boundary is sort of a particular area. It may not be in the village, but it may still be within parish boundaries.
So where's Wilton Parish Council then? Is Wilton not in Wilton?
I was thinking.
Wilton, I think we're getting a little bit
Sorry? Yes, they do. It's Wilton. Alice and I go every month to it.
Well, excuse me, I said the